This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
Gives us the hope that we had lost during the way, and that's where we were trying to just get freedom of a dictator.
Tonight, renewed hope for island Venezuelans, reaction to the U.S. capturing their country's leader, and what it means for those living here.
This one had gotten well into the floor, it had gotten into the walls. It was well into the structure.
A house fire turns deadly in central Saanich, the blaze drawing firefighting resources across the peninsula. Plus, Adam finds out why a senior is traveling across the country to stop and listen to strangers. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. There's been simultaneous celebration and global outcry after the United States captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in a military raid over the weekend. On Vancouver Island, members of the Venezuelan community are feeling hopeful and cautiously curious about if and when they can go home. CTV's Anna McMillan has more.
In the hours after United States Special Forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Venezuelans on Vancouver Island were waiting for loved ones back home to confirm what they've long hoped for.
Woke up to my dad call, and he was just crying, very emotional. When he managed to speak up, he was like, "You can finally come home." Those were his first words.
I am so excited. I haven't been able to go in 19 years. My kids are 17 and 19, and I haven't been able to take them.
Members of Victoria's Venezuelan community gathered this weekend to mark the downfall of a president they call dictator.
What is going on is a regime of fear, of terror, of repression. You cannot express yourself in any way.
Today in a U.S. courtroom, Maduro pled not guilty to narco-terrorism charges. The U.S. military used the charges to justify his capture on Saturday.
There's a lot of fear because the transition is not going to be easy, right?
We haven't celebrated yet. He's been captured. He's the head. However, it's a very delicate moment right now.
La familia.
Venezuelan Canadians say their families have long suffered under Maduro's rule.
People are armed everywhere, violent crime. Life has very little value compared to here, you know.
We have survived hunger, lack of medicines. We have survived our worst fears, being kidnapped. My dad was being kidnapped.
The United Nations and several countries are calling the Trump administration's military raid a breach of international law. The U.S. president has said Washington will at least temporarily run the oil-rich nation.
When you're drowning, you're not really seeing who's saving you, right? You're just grabbing whichever hand comes to you.
While emotions within Vancouver Island's Venezuelan community are mixed, two rise above them all.
This is a moment of hope and happiness for the Venezuelan community of Victoria.
The country's future is in flux, but for the first time in decades, these Venezuelans say they have reason to believe their nation is taking its first step toward democracy. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
The Central Saanich neighborhood is in mourning after a man lost his life. Another was taken to hospital following a devastating house fire over the weekend. In the early hours of Sunday morning, the Central Saanich Fire Department got a call of a fire burning in this house on Genoa Place. 25 firefighters responded from Central Saanich, North Saanich, as well as Sydney. And when they arrived, the house was fully involved. 3 people were home at the time. One man in his 30s managed to escape on his own. Another man of a similar age was rescued from the home. He remains in hospital with smoke inhalation. Another man in his 60s was not able to get out of the home and died at the scene. The chief of the Central Saanich Fire Department says it was a tough fire to fight and that it was already going strong before crews arrived.
This one had gotten well into the floor, it had gotten into the walls. It was well into the structure members. It took us. It was a significant fire. Central Saanich is it's a small community where people know each other, and I have no doubt that this will be felt within the community. My condolences go out to the deceased family and friends.
The house is said to be a total loss, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Saanich police are looking for the public's help after a young boy was violently robbed last month. It happened on December 1st around 3:20 in the afternoon along Mackenzie Avenue near Quadra Street. The 14-year-old victim was attacked from behind, knocked to the ground, and punched in the head several times. The suspect then stole his phone and fled in an older black Mercedes waiting nearby. The male suspect is described as white, around 30 years old, and 5'10". He was wearing a dark jacket and sweatpants. The driver of the Mercedes was a female wearing dark clothes. Anyone with information is asked to contact Saanich police. A woman reported missing from a long-term care facility in Esquimalt has been found over 100 kilometers away in Nanaimo. 69-year-old Maureen Schneider was last seen leaving the Sunset Lodge in Esquimalt last Thursday. According to Victoria Police, she was spotted several times over the weekend, including once on Gabriola Island. Eventually, Nanaimo Police tracked her down on Sunday and were able to get her back safely to her long-term care facility. The hockey community and the city of Port Alberni are grieving the sudden passing of a well-known play-by-play voice and morning radio show host for the Valley. Flowers hang off the broadcast booth at the Alberni Valley Multiplex where Evan Hammond called games for the BCHL's Bulldogs. Evan passed away on Friday at the age of 45 after experiencing a medical emergency days earlier. Nicknamed Hammer, Evan was the voice of the Bulldogs for more than 2 decades and the morning show host at 93.3 The Peak. During that time, tributes have been pouring in from across the hockey community for the beloved broadcaster. Colleagues say he will be remembered for his passion for hockey and the Alberni Valley, as well as his joke of the day.
He was one of Port Alberni's biggest cheerleaders. You know, if we were ever talking about an event or where an artist was from or where an athlete was from, I mean, Evan would always be the first to pipe up and say, hey, that person's from Port Alberni.
Evan, a father of 3, called close to 1,400 games for the Bulldogs. An owl that was wrapped in fishing line in Nanaimo got some help from some local fishermen who freed the nocturnal animal.
He's stuck. He's got fishing line around him.
Mike Hay and his brother and nephew were fishing at Colliery Dam Park in Nanaimo last week when they stumbled upon this owl that was perched on a branch from a downed tree just off the shoreline. When it didn't fly away, the trio got closer to see that it was tangled in fishing line. When they couldn't get a hold of conservation for advice, they came to the rescue, freeing the owl from the line. Surprisingly, the bird didn't put up a fight and willingly let Hay cut away the line.
He didn't pull back, and he didn't try to fly or anything in the slightest. And then when I started to untangle him, he didn't bite, he didn't resist. There was like absolutely no fear in the slightest. It was honestly as comfortable as you're petting your cat or your dog.
Hay says the owl stayed on the branch when it was free and most likely flew away when it became dark. BC property assessments are now online or in the mail for homeowners. The assessments are based on market values as of January 1st, 2025. BC's deputy assessor says values remain stable on Vancouver Island, and most homeowners can expect minimal change in their assessed value. However, what you end up paying in property taxes from last year will depend on your local government.
There's an equation that plays every year between what the assessed values are and what local government's budgets are. So local government will set a budget. They'll determine what services does a community need, what services they want for a certain community. And that mirrored with what the assessment is determines then what the property taxes are.
Assessments across the island range anywhere from -5% to +5% from last year, with the exception of Alert Bay, which saw the highest increase at 7% for single-family homes. The number of homes sold in Greater Victoria last year remained largely the same as the previous year, despite global economic uncertainty. The Victoria Real Estate Board says nearly 7,000 homes were sold over the course of 2025, only a 0.3% increase over 2024. The board says despite the consistent year for sales, it was the second highest number of new listings on the market. Well, whether you're a skier, snowboarder, or alpine enthusiast, there is a warning for anyone venturing into the backcountry. Avalanche Canada says the risk level for a potentially dangerous slide is going up on Vancouver Island. A push of winter weather over the next 24 hours could drop 50 centimeters of snow on high mountainous regions. Forecasters say a new high avalanche danger rating for island alpine zones is more than just about snow.
It was quite wet and warm, and then we've had cold weather just over the last 24-hour period, and that's really hardened up the surface of the present snowpack. And so all this new snow is going to fall on that hard surface and likely be a sliding surface for a storm slab avalanche problem.
Even if you're a great skier, snowboarder, or alpine climber, Avalanche Canada says during high danger ratings, it's not recommended to test your skills at all. More details can be found at avalanche.ca. Still to come, more on Donald Trump's threats and what it means for Canada.
We got to be very careful because the Americans are doing things right now that just seem unbelievable a few months ago.
Including how America's oil ambitions could fuel trouble for Canada.
Some sunshine this afternoon and a high of 7 degrees in Victoria. We've cooled off to 4 since then. More rain in the forecast for tonight and over the next few days. We'll get into those details right after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
What makes West Shore Parks and Recreation a perfect place to play? It's our staff, working behind the scenes to keep the pool safe, kids engaged, and programs thriving. So apply today and join our team.
Well, Josh, Happy New Year, and it's starting off to be quite busy for you because based on that avalanche story, there's going to be a lot of stuff falling from the sky.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a break today after some wet days, but there is not a lot of sunshine in the forecast over the next couple of days. There's some fairly significant waves of rain over the course of not only tonight, but the next few days for at least parts of the island. Victoria, 6 degrees right now. 4 is Port Alberni, Comox, 4 in Port Hardy. We do have some snow already falling across inland areas at higher elevations. We'll see more of that snow through this evening and overnight tonight. You can see some heavier rain starting to make its way south along the west coast, and then there is that pocket of heaviest rain tomorrow morning around Victoria and off to the west and northwest. Looks like most of the rain, at least in Victoria, should be done by late afternoon or early evening, and then it backs off to a chance of scattered showers. By then, here's how much rain you can expect. By early tomorrow morning, about 5 to 10 millimeters in Victoria. Look at Port Alberni picks up about 30. Tofino, close to 30 as well in Port Hardy. And then you'll add a little bit through the afternoon hours, but really the heaviest of the rain, as you can see, is going to come overnight tonight and by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. You'll only add another 5 to 10 millimeters in most areas by tomorrow afternoon. So in the north, periods of rain, heaviest in the morning hours and overnight tonight. 7 degrees for a high tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures stay pretty close to average, somewhere in the 6 degree range right through the rest of this week. Heaviest rain Wednesday will be in the morning hours. It'll back off to a chance of showers in the afternoon, and then maybe 50 to 80 millimeters of rain for parts of the North Island on Thursday. Rain tomorrow, heaviest in the morning hours for inland areas, higher elevations dealing with some snow. You've got another chance of some morning rain on Wednesday, and then some sunny breaks in the afternoon. Heavy rain out on the west coast overnight tonight and through tomorrow. Further north, that should taper off in the afternoon. Further south, that'll taper off more like early evening. significant amounts of rain by the end of this week into Friday, Saturday, and even Wednesday, Thursday have a chance of some showers. Rain tomorrow morning in Comox, then sunny breaks and 7 degrees in the afternoon. Could see some morning showers as well on Wednesday. Highs of about 6 or 7 degrees. Heaviest, steadiest rain for Comox, Nanaimo, and Victoria as well. Looks like it's going to be towards the end of this week into Friday, Saturday. Tomorrow, rain in the morning, tapering off to just scattered showers and a high of 7 in the afternoon. In Victoria, 5 degrees tomorrow morning. Some rain overnight tonight and through the first half of the day. Should taper off late in the day. A little gusty, 30 gusty to about 50 kilometers per hour. Chance of early showers on Wednesday. I think Wednesday afternoon we'll see a few sunny breaks and a high of about 7. And then you get a chance of some showers or some steadier rain through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with temperatures somewhere in the 8 or 9 degree range for daytime highs. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So hope you soaked up some sunshine earlier today, Nafisa. More rain rolling back in.
Sounds right for January. Thanks, Josh. An exciting start to the year for a team of orca researchers in BC who had their first encounter with a unique group of killer whales on New Year's Day. Observers spotted 7 big killer whales in the waters around Victoria late last week, including the bull and young adults. The Centre for Whale Research published these photos yesterday, along with details about the creatures and their behavior. Now, although they look virtually identical, these transient orcas eat other mammals like seals, unlike resident orcas that eat only salmon. We're turning now to how Canada could be impacted by the U.S. action in Venezuela. The suggestion that Donald Trump is being motivated by gaining control of Venezuela's oil reserves and the fact he is openly threatening the sovereignty of other countries like Colombia, Mexico, and Greenland came into sharp focus in this country today. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports on the role of oil and the implications for Canada.
Canadian oil stocks slid today as the energy market absorbed the potential implications of U.S. President Donald Trump tapping Venezuelan oil reserves.
What this says is Trump views oil as super important, which I think as Canadians we should recognize. We have a big oil industry and very big reserves, but it also says that we got to be very careful.
Ex-leader Nicolas Maduro's weekend capture and Trump musing of more military action is sparking international concern.
It's by no means all about the oil. It's about someone defying an American president. That's a pretty powerful example for those who are left.
Canada is no stranger to Trump's annexation threats, and Prime Minister Mark Carney's response so far has been careful. But the president's former national security advisor says he doesn't think this country is at risk.
I think any kind of move against Greenland or even more far-fetched against Canada would be the end of the NATO alliance. It would do incalculable damage, not just to the United States, but to the entire Western world.
Carney spoke to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado on Sunday, pledging Canada's support for a peaceful, negotiated, and Venezuelan-led transition process. Critics in this country say Trump's actions are exactly why Canada increasing its economic, military, and diplomatic independence is essential.
Internally, I think this boosts the obligation for Canada to get very serious, for Parliament to get very serious about diversifying our trade exports beyond the irrational administration of the United States.
Global Affairs is urging Canadians to avoid all travel to Venezuela, citing the unstable political situation. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, long-haul listening. Adam finds out why a senior is traveling across Canada to help people feel less alone. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Finally, Adam meets a senior who's turning unexpected adversity into a unique opportunity to help others. On tonight's Sawatsky Sign-Off.
This is not how Paul Jenkinson anticipated he'd be spending his retirement.
I'm doing my best, but I'm picking up the pieces.
Putting himself back together after his 45-year marriage ended and his daughter died.
Rather than lean into darkness and death, I've chosen to lean into love and lean into life.
After living for 71 years and working as a social worker for more than 40, Paul has learned that how we respond to adversity is a choice. And the choice he's made was inspired by his granddaughter who lost her mom.
And my granddaughter said, Opa, you really need to let people know that they're not alone.
So Paul is choosing to volunteer his time to be of service to others.
I can take these skills and this pain and transform that into a listening place that's full of compassion.
For the past 6 months,
you talk, I'll listen.
Paul's been setting up in public spaces.
No judgment, no shaming.
So people know they're not alone.
But I see beautiful things in people, and I let them know.
And not just here. He's traveling across the country. Since starting on the East Coast, Paul says he's made 50 stops and listened to more than 800 people.
That's awesome.
I think it's really fantastic.
I think it's lovely that you can find someone who will sit and listen to you.
There's a teaching to love your neighbor. And really, in many ways, you can't love your neighbor if you don't know your neighbor.
And Paul now knows there's far more than unites us than divides us, and far more people who want to help us than harm us.
People are actually more loving than hateful.
As Paul continues his journey across BC, on his way to the Northern Territories before wrapping up his journey in Newfoundland, he's hoping others will also be inspired to transform their pain into purpose.
Just take the one step towards hope, towards love, towards kindness, just one step. Once the ship is moving, you'll be amazed.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Abbotsford.
One step at a time. That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.